Well, the BRICS countries are embarking on a quite new model of corporate governance, which combines strong elements of what we call a market-based model of corporate governance with very strong involvement of the state. If you look at companies in China, the largest Chinese companies such as Sinopec, for example, or PetroChina, these are companies listed at foreign stock exchanges, listed at domestic stock markets. They have corporate boards, institutional investors, but at the same time they have a very strong presence of state in their ownership structure. And in fact, the rumors are that the state involvement in their decision-making process is very strong. So, as I said, we have a kind of emergence of hybrid models, which combine some elements of market type of governance models with state involvement. Well, traditionally, our view of corporate governance was based on monitoring and control functions of governance mechanisms. For example, the major role of corporate boards was to monitor managerial decision-making process and constrain managerial discretion. Recently, corporate governance researchers suggested that there are wider functions of corporate governance, such as resource and strategy function. For example, board members could provide a very important strategic advice to people who run companies. They could suggest, they could offer their strategic expertise in, let's say, restructuring or mergers and acquisitions or research and development. So this is a far cry from a traditional view of corporate governance as a policeman, as a watchdog within the companies, towards more collaborative model of corporate governance, where other corporate governance participants play a very important strategic function. Well, obviously, they are affected by the global financial crisis, and as we know, in countries such as Russia, China, and even India, Brazil in particular, there was a significant slowdown of economic growth. So what we observe now is the increasing diversity among BRICS countries. So some of them, such as China, still powering ahead, being a major workshop of the world. Some countries are struggling, such as Brazil, which is in grips of very significant economic and political crisis. India is becoming the largest country in the world in terms of population. But this massive growth of manpower is accompanied by increasing gaps between the top decile of population in terms of incomes and the poor part of population. Russia is obviously still exposed to sanctions imposed by the United States and European countries. So what we will see is an increase in diversity in economic development, so which might actually question whether the whole notion of BRIC countries makes any sense.